Hello! Welcome to Adventures in TV Land. My name is Tom, and this is going to be a slightly different video than what I usually do. I've been mulling this over a little bit, and I've decided to be a little bit more vulnerable. It might bite me in the butt, and if it does, so be it. But I'm going to, just talk about something I normally would not talk about. It's not what this channel normally does. But I just want to talk about dating, specifically dating for if you are in your 40s. I am an individual who is in my late 40s now, and I've gone on many dates and have not had much success, and I just want to discuss that for a little bit. So let's go to a different environment for a moment. At the recording of this video, it is the first day of February 2025, and on January 3rd, I believe it was, we had a massive snowstorm, 11 inches of snow. So here we are now, basically a month later. We've had a week of temperatures where it is been in the 50 degrees pretty much almost this whole week. Not quite, but high 40s, 50s the whole week. And we had 2 days of solid rain, and there is still snow left. Ugh, I hate winter. I've always liked this hiking trail. It runs parallel to railroad tracks, so sometimes you get privileged to see a train go by. On this other side, there's either fields of corn normally, sometimes beans depending what year it is, or woods depending where you're at on the trail. It's very peaceful and reflective. To start off with, dating is hard. Doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter if you're a teenager, if you're a middle-aged person like myself, if you're a senior citizen, dating is just plain hard. And I honestly think dating is even more difficult nowadays than it was like when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, when I was younger, we're going back in time now about 30 years, but when I was a teenager, when I was younger, the worst thing that I had to worry about was that the girl I liked, I was interested in taking on a date, would either one, reject me over the phone call, so that the worst thing was picking up the telephone, the old landlines, and making that telephone call, and then getting rejected on the phone, or having her turn me down face to face, at a meeting we were having, like over coffee or something like that. Don't get me wrong, rejection on both those fronts, over the telephone and in person, face to face, they happened quite often. But still, those were the only things I had to worry about. Now, you can't even, because it's all through the apps, it's all through online dating, and I'm not a barfly, never have been. I know you can still do that, probably go to bars, but that's not me. That's not something. I don't enjoy going to a bar to try to find a woman to pick up somebody, anything like that. That's not me. I have very strong introverted tendencies, but I try to live extrovertedly if I can. That doesn't always happen. and I probably more so than not give in to those introverted tendencies, but I try to overcome those. So, dating when you're in your 40s, what does it look like? Of course, nowadays it looks a lot different than when I was younger, but like I said, there's all the apps, all the swiping, the online stuff. Beyond dating just being hard in general, I honestly have to admit, I'm not 100% sure anymore what I want out of dating and out of a relationship. I am old enough now in my life, I have lived long enough being a single individual that I am quite content and quite happy in my singleness. Now, would I like to have a companion, someone to share that with, a woman to spend my golden years with? I think so. At the same time, it's not something, honestly, I don't know if I'm going to go out of the way to do that anymore. I don't know if it's worth it. Then there is the issue of children. Now, for the longest time in my life, I wanted to be a father. I wanted to have kids. But I will admit, now as I am approaching the last half of my life, the probability of me having children of my own has decreased rather dramatically. That's not to say it wouldn't happen, or I would not be open to it, but it is no longer something I am actively pursuing, or is something that I would like to happen necessarily. The women my age, or right around my age, that I do date, many of them, they already have children. Some of them younger, some of them older, but then you get in that situation and it's, do I want to be a stepfather? Because even though they tell you, oh, you're just dating the person, that is not quite the case, because family, friends, that's all part of it. I mean, friends maybe less so, depending on the individual, but family most definitely. And so you do have to take those things into consideration. And I feel myself beginning to ramble, and so I will try to wrap this up. In short, dating in your 40s is just as complicated, just as difficult, just as confusing as dating at any other point in your life. You would think by this point in your life you would have those things figured out in terms of dating and relationships, and you might have a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more know-how of how the world works, but that's about it. You might have more financial means, security, even be more stable at where you at your point in life, but that doesn't mean that dating is any easier. Well, this has been another video from Adventures in TV Land. I'm Tom. Thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.